So Stacey is already wearing a primer and a foundation, and now I'm just going to conceal any little areas that need it with the Take Cover Concealer in the shade Marble. I'm going to use this brush just to buff and blend it under the eyes. This is a fab brush just to make sure that it gets a really flawless finish. And a little tip when you're applying concealer is if you take the concealer slightly higher up into the inner corners here, it really helps to balance the shadowing around the eyes. And this concealer is fab because as well as being great under the eyes, you can also use this on any little blemishes or anywhere else that you really want to even out the skin tone. So now it's time that we set this beautiful base with a little bit of powder. So using a smaller brush which gives you a little bit more control, and this powder is dispensed through this mesh little part in the center here, which means you don't get too much each time, but just enough to mattify and give the perfect base to apply bronzer and to apply blusher. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of bronzer on now using this gorgeous matte Sunset bronzer. I'm taking with a brush, tapped off the excess, and then when I apply bronzer, I like to imagine that the sun is above you and you're applying that bronzer everywhere that the sun would naturally hit and give your skin a little bit of a sun-kissed look. So a little bit sweeping across the bridge of the nose. You can also use this to sculpt and contour under cheekbones and just generally warm up the face. So now time for blush, and I'm going to use this gorgeous peach shade which is called Clementine, and this just really helps to warm up the skin. So I'm just pressing this on the apples of the cheeks with a little sweep upwards to give us that fresh peachy flush. So now for eyes, I'm going to use the Colour Intense Shadow Palette, and we're going to start with this gorgeous kind of warm coppery tone here, and this shade is called Spell. So just with kind of a soft fluffy brush, I'm just using this to press the colour all over the lids. And then the benefit of using a brush like this is that once the colour's on, you can kind of just flip it over and use that to blend all of the edges, which gives you kind of that instantly smoky eye effect. Really helps to soften any hard lines too. So this is just going all over the lid, and I love the warmth of this colour. It just suits any eye shade. So now with the eye definer brush, which is smaller for a little bit more precision, I'm taking this gorgeous kind of champagne gold here, which is called Honor, and we're just popping this in the inner corners of the eyes to add that pop of highlight. Also really, really nice if you put a little touch under brows. And that same brush now can be used with this deeper shade. This is called Beguile, and I'm just using it with a smaller brush just along the lash line and a little bit up into the socket. And look up for me, and we're also going to take that with the same brush slightly under the lash line. And once that's done, you can go back over the top with your softer brush just to blend and soften. So I'm going to create a very subtle little flick of liquid liner now using the gel liner. So what I do with this is with a little brush, I take a bit of the product and then I use the back of my hand as almost like a little canvas where I'm taking the product from. And what that means is that you don't end up with too much product on your brush. So if you look a little bit more towards me. So what I do is I just use really small strokes, and then you get a little bit more control rather than trying to create that liquid liner shape all in one. And I'm doing exactly the same for the other eye now, and I love how fluid this product is. It really just glides on the skin and doesn't drag the delicate skin on the eye too much. So now I'm going to use the Definitive mascara. I just want to give lots of extra length and really separate and comb through the lashes. So when I apply mascara, I like to actually use the wand to apply the product on the lashes and then use the length of it to just comb that through. So the outer lashes are being combed outwards, and then the center lashes go straight upwards, and the inner lashes go more in towards the nose, and then that means that the lashes surround the eye like a fan. And same on the bottom lashes. I find just a little bit of mascara on bottom lashes helps to frame the eyes and really make them look bigger. So you can see the difference that's made just from one coat, but you can build that up if you want a really dramatic lash look and just give another little layer, especially to top lashes. So I'm going to define Stacey's brows now using the BROWLINE pencil, which has got a retractable pencil one end and a really handy spoolie the other end. So I'm going to use this first just to comb through the brows, and what this does is it allows you to see any little gaps or areas that need filling in. And then with the other hand, with the other side, I'm just going to use this to almost replicate little hair-like strokes throughout the brows. So starting at the front and just sweeping that pencil upwards helps to really create those hair-like strokes. Now I'm going to finish this brow using the Brow Shape, which is a slightly tinted brow gel which just helps to keep hairs in place. So combing that through after we've used the pencil just helps to soften any lines that pencil created so that it looks very natural, and also keep those hairs exactly where we want them. Now to do exactly the same for the other side, just using that pencil to almost draw in these replica hair-like strokes. So moving on to Stacey's lips now, and I'm going to use this liner. The shade is called POUT, which is a really beautiful shade that's almost like a deeper shade of your natural lip colour with a little bit of pink. So I'm just using this to sketch out the lip line, and then we're going to use a lipstick. But a nice little tip when you're doing liner is if you want to make your lipstick last longer, you can actually cover the whole lip with that liner, and that gives the lipstick something to stick to. And how handy to have a retractable lip pencil that never needs sharpening. I'm going to pop some lipstick on now, and this is a really beautiful kind of pinky nude shade called Flirt, which is so creamy, but once it goes on, it's kind of got like a semi-matte finish. I'm using a lip brush to apply this just to be a little bit more precise, but also works really nice directly from the bullet. And it's such a versatile shade, this. It actually suits so many skin tones. So now just to finish this look, I'm popping a little bit of this gorgeous gloss on. This is the shade Jewel, and a nice tip when doing gloss is if you start in the center of the lips and work outwards, then it makes your gloss last for longer. And that looks so beautiful on Stacey. I loved this without the gloss, but actually with the gloss gives it that little special touch which is perfect for evening.